Also, let me know what I can be doing better. First, we have Third Path Iconoclast. Burn everyone out with pingers and kill them with colorless soldiers. Second, we have Satyr Enchanter. Grow this commander to be freaking huge and have protection from everything before swinging for the win. Third, we have Tatiova combo. Peregrine Drake, Archaeomancer, and Ghostly Flicker means lights out. Then in fourth, we have Crypt Rats. Keep wiping the board until everybody's dead. Sweet, well let's get into it. Third Path Iconoclast starts the game. He plays an island and passes the turn. Enchanter plays a forest, plays an Elvish Mystic, and ships it. Tatiova also plays a forest. Tatiova then casts a Sky Shroud Ranger and passes the turn. Rats plays a swamp and a Hunter's Blowgun. Then, in Rat's end step, Iconoclast cycles Lauren Revealed, grabbing a basic island. Iconoclast plays the island they just got after Lorien Revealed as land for turn, then casts Renegade Map, and then casts Sleight of Hand before passing the turn. Enchanter draws a card and plays an Ancient Den as land for turn. Enchanter then casts their commander and passes the turn. The Ancient Den is in the deck to increase the artifact count for all that glitters. Tatiova plays an island, then activates Sky Shroud Ranger to put a tapped Gingerbread Cabin into play. Tatiova then casts Nature's Lore and gets a basic, untapped forest into play. Tatiova then casts Utopia Sprawl before passing the turn. Holy moly, Tatiova effectively put an extra 3 permanent land sources into play on turn 2. That's wild. Rats untaps, plays a swamp, and casts Nile Spellbomb before passing the turn. Iconoclast untaps, and in his upkeep, sacrifices Renegade Map to get a basic mountain into hand, and then cast their commander, Third Path Iconoclast. They then cast Fountainport Bell, triggering their commander to make a 1/1 colorless soldier. They then search their library for a basic mountain and put that on top before passing the turn. Enchanter taps 2 and casts Fertile Grounds, enchanting one of its fourths to tap for an extra of any color. This triggers Satyr Enchanter, and they draw a card. Enchanter then taps 2 to cast All That Glitters, giving their commander +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment they control. This also triggers their commander, and they draw a card. Enchanter moves to combat and hits Tatiova for 5 commander damage. Enchanter then plays a forest as land for turn and ships it. Tatiova untaps and draws a card. Tatiova then taps 5 mana to cast its commander, Tatiova Benefic Druid. He puts an obscure storefront as land for turn and sacrifices it to go get a basic forest. This triggers Tatiova twice, so he gains a total of 3 life and draws 2 cards. Rats plays a swamp for turn and taps 3 to cast their commander, Crypt Rats, before passing the turn. Iconoclast untaps, draws a mountain as land for turn, plays that mountain, then taps 3 to cast Mesedian Elder, which makes a 0/1 which will ping all of its opponents every time he casts a non-creature spell. Iconoclast then heads to combat and swings 3 at Enchanter. Iconoclast then passes the turn. Satyr untaps and plays a forest as land for turn. Satyr then taps 3 to cast Sheltering Boss, giving its commander +1/+3 and drawing a card. Satyr Enchanter triggers, and he draws an extra card. Now that's some value. Satyr then casts Spirit Link, giving its commander lifelink, and drawing another card with its commander trigger. Enchanter then goes to combat. Enchanter then swings 8 at Tatiova. Tatiova doesn't block and takes 8 to the face. Enchanter then gains 8 life because its commander now has lifelink. Enchanter then passes the turn. Tatiova untaps and then pays 3 to cast Cultivate. Tatiova puts a forest into play and an island into hand. When the forest enters the battlefield, Tatiova triggers, gaining a life and drawing a card. Tatiova then plays that island as land for turn, gaining another life and drawing another card. Tatiova then taps its Sky Shroud Ranger to put another island into play, gaining yet 1 more life and drawing another card. Tetiova then taps 3 to cast Descent of Endless Water, giving it no maximum hand size. Tetiova then taps 2 to cast Scaled Herbalist, and 1 for Sakura Tribe Scout, in hopes that it'll have enough blockers to stop Enchanter from killing it next turn. Tetiova then passes the turn. Rats untaps, plays another Swamp as land for turn, and taps 4 to cast Fire Mine Vessel, which enters tapped. Rats is really just hoping to stay off the radar, and in hindsight, it might have been better to board wipe, but oh well. In Rat's end step, Iconoclast sacrifices Fountain Port Bell to draw a card. Also, what kind of name is Fountain Port Bell? Well, at least it's better than whatever this card is. Iconoclast pays 1 to cast Occam's Astroblade, drawing it a card and mana fixing it a little. This triggers the wizard to deal 1 damage to everyone, and its commander to make another 1/1 colorless soldier. He then casts Izzet Signet, ramping him a little. This again triggers the wizard to deal 1 damage to everyone, and Third Path Iconoclast to make another soldier. Iconoclast then swings with everything that's not summoning Sig at Enchanter, dealing a whopping 4 damage. Then, in Iconoclast's end step, Enchanter casts Temporal Isolation, targeting the Crypt Rats and rendering it completely useless. Of course, Sentir Enchanter also triggers and draws a card. Enchanter untaps, draws a card for turn, plays a Plains, then taps 3 to cast Flaming Fist, which gives its commander double strike. Of course, Sentir Enchanter also triggers and draws a card. Enchanter then pays 1 to cast Sentinel's Eye, giving its commander +1/+1 and Vigilance. Enchanter also draws a card. He then casts Cartouche of Strength and fights Third Path Iconoclast. This also triggers Sentir Enchanter, and he draws a card. Sentir Enchanter then swings his double striking, life linking, trampling 12/12 Vigilant Commander at Tetiova. Here's a question for everyone too. The first strike damage would have killed Tetiova, so is Enchanter supposed to gain first strike damage and normal strike damage because the commander has double strike, or just the first strike damage? Rats plays a Swamp for turn and taps it to crack its Nile Spellbomb to draw a card, hoping to dig its way out of the mess it's in. Fortunately, Rats can't do anything and instead passes the turn. In Rat's end step, however, Iconoclast casts Lightning Bolt, killing Enchanter's Elvish Mystic. This triggers the Wizard token, which deals 1 damage to Rats and Enchanter. Iconoclast starts the turn off by swinging everything at Enchanter. Enchanter takes the 4 damage. Iconoclast then casts the Distant Melody, triggering the Wizard token to deal 1 damage to each opponent. Iconoclast also draws 3 cards from the Distant Melody. Enchanter untaps and draws. Enchanter then taps 1 to cast Cartier's Desire, mostly just a cantrip, however this also grows the All That Glitters. This also triggers Sentir Enchanter and they draw a card. They then cast Kithkin Armor and draw another card with their commander. They keep the cantrip train going and cast Cho'Ma's Blessing at sorcery speed, giving their commander protection from black. And of course they draw yet another card. Finally, Enchanter runs all out of white pips and has to head to combat. They swing their 15/15 double strike, trample, lifelink, protection from blue, protection from black, freaking insane commander at a Third Path Iconoclast, taking them out of the game in 1 swing. Enchanter then passes the turn. Rats draws, plays a land, and passes, faster than Iconoclast can pick up their things. Enchanter untaps, draws, and swings its commander, winning the game. Thank you all for watching. Before you click off, make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to see more Pauper games, click here. If you want to see some EDH games, click here. Furthermore, let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. Do you prefer EDH or do you prefer Pauper? Anyway, thanks again and have a wonderful day.